where Dean Malenko became the Cruiserweight champ during Slamboree when he shocked the world and shocked Chris Jericho. Gene Okerlund talked to Dean Malenko, got his comments after he won, and then our cameras caught up with Jericho throwing a tantrum. Here's what happened.
Chris Jericho, tonight was not the end of my quest, my friend. It was only the beginning. Because what you felt tonight was just a little bit of hurt. The little bit of hurt that you dished out to me when you spoke about the Malenko family name. You know, I sat home for quite some time, and there wasn't one Monday Nitro or one Thursday Thunder that I didn't watch. That I didn't see your pompous attitude all over the screen, putting down the likes of Rey Mysterio Jr., Juventud Guerrera, and Prince Iaukea. You know, you did your best to try to get over here in WCW with the fans and the WCW office. But when you spoke about the great Boris Malenko, my friend, that didn't get over with Dean Malenko. Now you're gonna wish, when the dust is cleared and all said is done, that this man right here would have stayed home, and that you never, ever brought up the Malenko family name. Dad, this one's for you.
This isn't how this works. I'm the champ. I'm the champ. This is not how it works. This is a conspiracy. No! This is not right. I'm the champ. I'm still the champ. This isn't right. This is a conspiracy from WCW. You can't stop me. I'm still the champion.
Everything he gets. Now, Malenko is here tonight, but Jericho is here as well, and here he comes.
Well, that certainly was a great moment in WCW history, watching Chris Jericho, and isn't this great to say, the former WCW World Cruiserweight Champion, he just snapped. That was the ultimate temper tantrum.
I think he needs a nap.
What does he ever, and let's call it like it is, Brain. You heard what Dean Malenko had to say. I think, even though that Malenko has the Cruiserweight strap once again, that Dean Malenko is still not finished with Chris Jericho.
Because Chris Jericho is still walking. He's still a member of WCW. And he still has the ability to talk about the Malenko family, especially Boris Malenko. And that don't sit well with Dean. He's not done with this man yet. Not far from being done.
Now, Dean Malenko is here later on tonight, defending his Cruiserweight belt, scheduled against Eddie Guerrero later on in this program. And don't forget, Lex Luger and the Giant in our feature bout here tonight, live on Thunder. We're back here on a Thursday night to go one-on-one, Luger and the Giant. Later on, look at this. Head down, sign above his head. Yeah, there was a conspiracy. And the conspiracy had to do with Juventud Guerrera and Dean Malenko.
Jericho just plain and simple got beat at his own game.
That's right.
He got scammed.
First of all, as far as that propaganda that you just saw, I apologize. That will never, ever, ever happen again. Thank you. Second of all, I am here to inform you of a humongous, diabolical conspiracy so large, it's in comparison with the 1918 Chicago Black Sox, with the Roswell incident, and with the assassination of JFK himself. A conspiracy so large that it has robbed me of my most prized possession, the Cruiserweight Championship. A conspiracy perpetrated by the snake oil salesmen who call themselves the WCW office and every single wrestler in the WCW locker room. So what I would like to do is have Mr. James J. Dillon, the president of WCW, come out here and face me right now. So Dillon, get out here. Hey Dillon, waddle on down here and face me right now. Come on, you twisted old fruit. Get out
demands, and, you know, fans, let me say this. All the announcers...
All right, Double J. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Since you won't come out and face me, since you're hiding in the back room, quivering in your boots, I'm going to give you the evidence right here in my hand. I have a list of the 15 competitors in the Cruiserweight Battle Royal from Slamboree. But on this list, I see no Dean Malenko. There's no Dean Malenko. Show me Dean Malenko.
Gonna lose it again.
So Malenko, since you were on that list, I guess I never could have lost that match to you. Which makes me think that maybe this Battle Royal was a fix. Maybe the fix is in. Well, Dylan, if you won't come out here and face me, I'm not gonna stop hounding you. I'm not gonna stop following you until you face me and give each and every person in this arena, every Jerichoholic here and across the United States and worldwide, what they really want, which is to reinstate me as Cruiserweight Champion, Dylan, because I will never, ever stop chasing you until you give the people what they want and give me my belt back.
Threatening James J. Dillon's not going to get it done. Now, let me say this. This announce team here before you fans knows that James J. Dillon is not here, was not here at all today, and not only that, Jericho knew this as well. When James J. Dillon is in the arena and in the building, every wrestler knows it.
Well, the man who is renowned for being the collector of trophies lost the most important trophy last Sunday at Slamboree to Dean Malenko. Jericho almost looks naked out there without the championship belt, without Hoovie's mask, without the leg mannequin, Prince Iaukea ring entrance garb.
Well, he's talking conspiracy, so I guess we might as well just call it Jericho Gate.
Well, what we witnessed was just the beginning of Dean Malenko's quest, step number 1 in Malenko's master payback plan.
But he's mad now, and Super Cal is going to have to do what he can to stay alive in that ring, because this man Jericho is right beside himself.
I tell you, regardless of how angry he is, the threats he makes to J.J. Dillon, the fact is, to become Cruiserweight champ, he must go in the ring against Dean Malenko, and I don't think that's something that he wants to do again. Look at Colo over the top. He almost pinned him to get a 2 count at Colo that time. A lot of times there's a running lariat. A lot of times, look at Colo. Showing a lot of firepower here.
He's still got his hat on.
Well, Colo knows that he can open up the eyes of the WCW Executive Committee with a victory over Jericho, and Jericho needs a win to get back in the Cruiserweight ranks. What a released German suplex.
Surprised he didn't break his neck.
Probably wants to. In the middle, the lion salt that time missed. Enabling Colo to walk the top. He tried a moonsault of his own and really missed that time. He hit his upper part of his body before he connected with Jericho.
Lion Tamer.
Yeah, as him hooked the Lion Tamer.
Quickly, Super Colo taps out.
The best move he's made all night.
And he's not letting go. Jericho will not let go. And finally, being admonished by Mickey J, the referee, Jericho makes the man raise his hand a second time. Raise it all you want. Complain all you want. Cry all you want. It's official that Dean Malenko is the Cruiserweight champ and deserved every bit of it. Conspiracy? Well, maybe so, but he deserved it. Here's our Castrol torture test of the week, Ring.
Right here, Jericho. This is the match. This is the turning point right there. Callow dropped on the back of his head. Didn't have much left after that. Climbed to the top rope. Tried to do a moonsault. Just didn't have it after that. Into the Lion Tamer. Your winner, Jericho. The man who says there's a conspiracy on.
And maybe there was, but too bad. Because Dean Malenko, who'll be coming up later on in this program, is your WCW Cruiserweight champ. Do not forget, later on tonight in this program, Lex Luger will face the Giant one-on-one. A sellout crowd on hand in Cleveland. Thunder continues after this. Time out.
Coming up next on Movies for Guys Who Like Movies, it's a perfect weapon just like me, right after Thunder, here on the Superstation.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Need a little treatment? Step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah!
Moen's new Life Shine finish won't tarnish or corrode over time. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
America Online is the internet.
Email.
Instant messages.
AOL now offers more benefits than ever before.
If I can do it, anyone can.
So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
On the go, on the run, push pops that go anywhere candy with lots of wild, outrageous flavors. So for the ultimate pop, give your taste buds a push with Push Pops. Push the push pop up.
What is that?
A Wendy's honey ham and chicken.
Hey, that looks good. I'm gonna go get one.
Is that a whole breast filet?
It sure is.
Unbelievable! Hey, did you get that here?
No, Wendy's.
Looks like a Dijon sauce to me, Chris.
It's got 2 slices of honey ham.
I'm hungry.
Go to commercial.
Introducing Wendy's new honey ham and chicken sandwich. Chicken doesn't get any better than this. But you have to go to Wendy's to get it.
Now adding Chipper Jones. Attaboy, Chipper. You're the man.
Try Wendy's new honey ham and chicken.
Look at that.
Let me see. What's got these guys so excited?
Unbelievable.
Player's Choice games for N64. Turok, Mario Kart, Wave Race, Star Fox.
Oh, man.
Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire, Cruising USA, and Super Mario.
I think I'm in love.
Each one of these great games is just $39.95.
What's going on here?
And each one is a million seller. Just look for the Player's Choice logo.
Hey, buddy, need a few hints on how to play Starburst Chew the Clue?
Yeah?
Hit number 1. Put the mystery chew in your mouth.
Oh.
Call in, guess the fruit combination.
Pork. It's pork, isn't it?
Hint 2, it's not pork.
Oh.
You could win a trip to Hawaii.
Hawaii? Woo! I'm going to Hawaii!
You haven't won anything yet.
Oh.
Chew the Clue sweepstakes from Starburst. Hey, don't touch my legs! Security!
Hot tires fueling out the door.
Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra Dry, Degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises, Degree Ultra Dry's powerful new form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me.
It kept me dry. Ultra dry.
Worked better than my old stick.
New Degree Ultra Dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
Bobby,
What do you want?
we've got to talk. These kids you're mixed up with don't know right from wrong.
They're my friends.
People who don't dial 1-800-COLLECT are nobody's friends. 1-800-COLLECT is 10 cents a minute every evening.
Really?
This isn't a game, kid. You could be saving your parents money.
Bobby, you with us or him?
You made the right choice, son. 1-800-COLLECT, 10 cents a minute every evening.
We're back, fans. For the past few weeks, there had been a man coming out of the stands and attacking Raven. But we found out at Slamboree this past weekend, that man was none other than Mortix. Here's what's happened over the past few months. Take a look.
You want to join the flock? You want to follow me? Look what you follow now. James Van Burke, a human oddity. Does he make you dress in this clown costume? Is that a mask of hate or a mask of shame? Is there any reason why I would want you? Is there something about you that you're not showing? If you want to join the flock, you have to be yourself. You have to be true to who you are. You have to be unafraid to be different, to be laughed at, to be scorned. That's all it takes to follow me. Oh, by the way, and you gotta beat Diamond Gallows Page as well.
To the midsection. Reversal.
There it is. Well, that was like a billiard shot off the cushion. Hits him.
Gives him That's Mortis.
Tony?
That's the same guy that's been coming out of the stands we've seen repeatedly.
That's right.
That's the first time we've seen Mortis unmasked, but I recognize the man. Wow, for Mortis, it has been obviously a long, drawn-out attempt to take this man completely out. And Mortis, dressed up as one of the Riot Squad, handcuffed each and every member of the flock to that cage that fenced the Bowery death match we had on Sunday and laid Raven right out, Mike.
Well, obviously, Mortis was originally rejected by this man, Raven, in his attempt to join the flock. And now he has arrived to make Raven pay. Now, the most amazing thing about this, Mortis isn't even associated with World Championship Wrestling anymore. That's why you see security come down and take him away.
Making sure the right squad's in.
At the pay-per-view, you implied that you no longer needed me, that you wanted to be on your own. Well, I thought our friendship was a little more important than your selfish desire to be U.S. champion. When we were kids and you were in detention home, who took your collect phone calls? Who got you your job in Barbed Wire City? And more importantly, who got you your job in WCW? I did. What about me? What about Raven? Now, I thought our friendship was important. And I thought you were loyal. At least that's what I always thought.
First of all, Raven, my loyalty's not what's at question here. What's at question is the fact that you're drunk with power and confused. Because I'm not one of them mindless zombies that follow the guru. I'm not now, nor have I ever been a member of your flock.
Oh, my.
What I am is your friend. And that's a 50-50 relationship. And if we're going to continue to be friends, you're never going to try to boss me around again.
You're right. I was wrong and I'm sorry. Now,
how about that?
As far as the Mortis issue is concerned, Mortis, I know you're out there. In fact, my flock has spotted you. You're back there in a rainbow wig in that horrible disguise. Now come on out here like a man and face me one-on-one. Come on, Mortis. That disguise is not fooling anyone. Come on.
Apparently they have spotted Mortis in the stands once
Just
again.
you and me, one-on-one.
Well, there he
All
is.
by myself. Come on. Come a little closer, Mortis. Come on. Not getting a little scared, are you? Where's your guts now that you're not jumping me from behind? This is not some Pearl Harbor attack. Come on. Come a little closer. Don't be scared.
He's luring him
Just
right in,
you
guys.
and me. Just you and me.
This don't smell good.
Riot Cops, stand back. Just me and him. Stand back. Stand back, I said. Get back. Get him!
Here they come. They got him. This is exactly what Raven wanted.
You got too close.
Yeah, we have another fan.
That reverse Russian leg sweep. Wait, now wait a minute. Is that Mortis?
I'm not sure.
No, the other one was Mortis.
Are you sure?
Is that Mortis?
I don't know who that was. That for a fleeting moment it looked like Mortis, but if that was Mortis, who was this other guy? And if this other guy was Mortis, then who was that? There was a blonde wig on the man, I know that.
But the guy coming up the aisle looked like Mortis.
Well, isn't it ironic? He took off his mask, but he's still using his disguise to outsmart and stay one step ahead of Raven and the flock.
The only thing I can think, that maneuver he put on Raven was one of his primary moves, Mortis, when he wrestled here, and that's what gave it away.
Hey, Raven, what about me, huh? What about Raven?
What about Mortis?
Yeah, what about Mortis?
hit me in the back of the head. I didn't know that. I'm not going to be the kind of referee to let it sit. So I'm telling you, as commissioner, I'm making a decision.
This portion of Thunder on TBS brought to you by Burger King. If you ask us, it just tastes better. Back with more after this timeout.
Want to get the inside scoop on all the action at WCW? In this month's issue of the WCW NWO magazine? Never before seen photos from Uncensored. Oh, it's girls, son, and fun. Catch the play-by-play of Monday Nitro Spring Breakout 98. Find out if Dean Malenko will return to the ring. Just call 1-800-544-1122 or write to the address on your screen to subscribe right now to the WCW NWO magazine.
Let me tell you something about heroes. They ain't like you and me. Look at Griffey. The way he taps the spikes and grows the teeth, punches the glove and flips the lid, ties the hat, eats the dirt, and twirls the lumber, warms it up and works the crowd. The way he holds the pose, slams the wall, anticipates, and always thanks his mother. Let me tell you about guys like him. They ain't just playing stick.
This is Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. with Reality Bat for Infinite Swings. It's only on N64, only on Nintendo Sports.
With 4 kids and a tight budget, I need Walmart. So everybody gets everything they need and want. Like those adorable mix and match McKids clothes. My kids love the way they look, and I love the way they're made. 100% cotton, long-lasting, and to help keep them looking their best, I get Tide at Walmart.
Unlike bargain brands, Tide helps clean away the fuzz that can make cottons look old before their time.
So their clothes look great wash after wash. If your kids' clothes gotta last, you gotta use Tide.
Chris Farley.
What is it?
Matthew Perry.
Indians.
Your turn. I was told you speak English. Well, we seem to be making some progress.
We wish to forget this.
Almost Heroes. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, May 29th at a theater near you.
There's nothing like the feeling of a new car. We bought the Armor All Protectant. It shines, it protects. It's new car juice.
Give me a road. Give me a car. Give me an opponent. And I will race him. I will show him who has more heart in the corners, who has a heavier foot in the straights, and who has a greater thirst for champagne. The race is on.
They can't get that far. You little ham.
Get the keys. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We need to talk about what we've just seen, but before we go there, let's remind you tomorrow, Friday, May 22nd, tickets go on sale with Thunder coming to Jacksonville, Florida on Monday, June 22nd at the Jacksonville Coliseum. Tickets available when they go on sale tomorrow morning, the box office and Ticketmaster. WCW return to the state capital, Virginia, Richmond, at the Richmond Coliseum on Sunday, June 23rd. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at the Richmond Coliseum box office and Ticketmaster. Now, next week, Thunder comes away on a Wednesday night here on TBS. That's Wednesday, May 27th in Nashville, Tennessee at the Municipal Auditorium. Tickets still on sale at the Auditorium box office and Ticketmaster for next Wednesday's Thunder in Nashville. On Thursday, June 11th, Thunder comes to the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo, New York. Tickets now on sale at the Midland Arena box office and all Fantastic outlets. And on Thursday, June 18th, Thunder comes to Philadelphia in the Core State Spectrum. Tickets available at the Spectrum box office and all Ticketmaster locations also available at the Core State Center box office as well. We're joined by Lee Marshall once again as the World Television Champion Finley comes out. We saw Raven apologize to Saturn, and then we saw a man we thought was Mortis, apparently was not. Mortis is a man who continually now haunts Raven.
Well, the only thing I saw walking back from the locker room where I was for the past few minutes
was nothing but a blur of some guy running not only through the locker room, but out in the parking lot, a bunch of guys chasing after him. So I really am not sure who that was, Tony.
Which one was smartest? The guy walking up the aisle or the guy that came in the ring with the blonde wig on? I don't know. I couldn't tell.
I don't know. The one thing you can definitely say that he has Raven off guard. And has Raven, I mean, Raven lured that man, whoever he was, towards the ringside area. And the Riot Squad, when they jumped on him, that enabled that other man to get Raven from behind. Well, that is another issue we need to talk about in the weeks to come, because Raven certainly having more problems than he knows what to do with. Fit Finlay and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. This bout is for the World Television Championship, and I tell you, Finlay one of the toughest and strongest, but Neidhart is as well.
I don't think anybody's ever questioned the pure strength of the Anvil Jim Neidhart. Once the AAU National Shot Put champion. And you look at Fit Finlay, the champion. How often we talk about how tough he is, but maybe his toughness was always better suited like a back alley or a Pier 1 kind of brawl. Confining him to the ring may have always held him back.
I don't know. He's the world television champion. He looks pretty good to me. And the reputation this man has all over the world stands on its own. Neidhart, a tough man, no doubt about that, but...
Runs right into him. Fit Finlay defeated Booker T on Nitro to become television champ. Then successfully kept the belt against Chris Benoit this past Sunday in Worcester, Mass at Slamboree. So any doubts about how long he would keep the belt have been thrown out the window. Many people said, hey, it's a fluke, he won't last long, but Finlay fooled everyone but us. We've often known that Finlay, one of the toughest around, but he's in there against a man who's fearless in Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Tony, I think that's an excellent point. I think so many wrestlers all around the world are just flat out intimidated by Fit Finlay, not Neidhart.
Runs right into a boot. Finlay got the foot up. Neidhart runs into it, and Finlay with a left-handed lariat puts the man down. Very interesting to see. We haven't really talked to Neidhart about it. Very interesting to see exactly what's going through Neidhart's mind, that his brother-in-law, Bret the Hitman Hart, is now sided with Hollywood Hogan and NWO Hollywood.
Well, that's something you never thought you'd hear or see, those two names together.
Not only will they be together in names, but they'll be together as a team at the Great American Bash against another unlikely duo, Rowdy Roddy Piper of WCW and the Macho Man Randy Savage of NWO Wolfpack. Think about that one.
Well, this is the first. I don't think any four have met before in the ring.
4 future Hall of Famers in our sport. 1, 2.
Legs over.
Legs over, puts on the rope in the Anvil now, turns around and walks right into a gut shot and a European uppercut.
Big dummy.
You know, I've noticed one of the things that makes Finlay so unpredictable and tough.
Oh,
setting it up for the pile driver.
And that's no little man.
Oh, my. That's his move.
He's not going anywhere.
It's over.
He's for real. He is for real. It's no fluke that this man is the WCW television champion. He earns every win he gets.
Brain, we've always said 9 out of 10 guys will tell you Fit Finlay, one of the toughest guys walking the face of the planet. My thought on one of the reasons that makes him so tough is he can hit you. I think he's probably ambidextrous. We noticed that short arm clothesline that he threw left-handed. Then he hit Neidhart right-handed with the European uppercut. He stunned him, then put him in the tombstone pile driver. Let's go to the ring to Tony Schiavone.
All right, Lee, thank you very much. Fit Finlay is the television champ. But fans, if you'll recall, Fit Finlay wins the belt. And don't forget when he defeated Booker T, that Chris Benoit had come to ringside to divert the attention of Booker T. And then when Fit Finlay defeated Chris Benoit this past Sunday,